Hello dear students, let us discuss some questions on heat and thermodynamics. So at first let us discuss the question that is given. It is given that at one side of a rod there is 300 degrees Celsius and other side of the rod is 0 degrees Celsius, and the rod is comprising of steel and copper. Steel is of 15 meters, copper is of 10 meters, and it is given area of cross section of steel is twice the area of cross section of copper. Given coefficient of conductivity of steel is this much and coefficient of thermal conductivity for copper is this much. We have to find the temperature at the junction. We have to find what? We have to find the temperature at the junction, that is we have to find the temperature theta. So as we know, whenever there is a temperature difference, heat will flow from hot end to the colder end. So we know the same heat will flow from steel and it will flow from copper. So the amount of heat flowing through steel is same as that of amount of heat flowing through copper. And we all know what is the coefficient, what is the relationship between heat and coefficient of thermal conductivity. It is nothing but Q equal to Ka theta 1 minus theta 2 into T by length. So let us take the time to be unit time. So let us consider the time to be same for both steel and copper. So the amount of heat per unit time, so Q by T will be same for both steel and copper. So if I equal both of them, instead of K for steel I can put 50.2. Instead of area of steel I can put twice area of copper. And what is the temperature difference? Here the temperature difference is 300 and theta for steel. So 300 minus theta divided by length of steel, that is 15 meters, is equals to coefficient of conductivity for copper, that is 385 joules second inverse meter inverse Celsius inverse into area of copper into the temperature difference here for copper is theta and 0 degree. So theta minus 0 degree divided by 10. Solving this equation we will get the value for theta. So we can solve this equation. Solving it, we will get theta is equals to around 44 degree Celsius. So this is the temperature of the interface by using the concept of conduction. So the temperature at the interface will be 44 degree Celsius. So let us do the next question. So the next question is, there is a black body and the black body is radiating energy or radiation. It is at temperature 1527 degrees Celsius. It has area of surface as 0.2 meter square and given stiffness constant is 5.67 into 10 to the power minus 8. We have to find out the amount of energy radiated per second. So energy radiated per second we have to find out. So from Stephen's law of radiation, we know the amount of energy radiated per unit area per unit time is nothing but directly proportional to the fourth power of absolute temperature. So this energy is nothing but energy radiated per unit time per unit area, which is equals to sigma T4. So here we have to convert 1527 degrees Celsius into, we have to convert 1527 degrees Celsius into Kelvin by adding 273. If we add 273, it becomes 1800 Kelvin. And putting the value of temperature here in this equation, we can find out the amount of energy radiated per second, which is equals to sigma T to the power 4 into area. All the values are given. 1800 Kelvin, area is 0.2 and sigma value is 5.67 into 10 to the power minus 8. So amount of heat radiated per unit time is nothing but, putting all the values, you will get 1.19 into 10 to the power 5 second. So So this is the amount of heat energy radiated from the black body by using the concept of Stephen's law of radiation. Now let us do the next question. Here the temperature of a star is given 6500 Kelvin. We have to find out the wavelength of emitted radiation with maximum. So to find out the wavelength of the emitted radiation, we have to use Wien's displacement law, which is nothing but maximum radiation emitted, the wavelength of maximum radiation emitted into absolute temperature of the body is equals to constant, and that constant is nothing but Wien's displacement constant. So lambda m is equals to B by T. So B is nothing but 2.9 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 6500 Kelvin. So we will get around 4.461 into 10 to the power minus 7 meters, or I can write it as 4461 angstrom. This is the wavelength of the emitted radiation. The next question is based on Newton's law of cooling, where a body is cooling from 60 degree to 40 degree Celsius in 7 minutes. Given the surrounding temperature is 10 degrees Celsius, what will be the temperature of the body after 7 minutes? First 7 minutes it came down from 60 to 40. In the next 7 minutes, from 40 to what temperature will it come down? So we have to find out the final temperature of the body. So for the first 7 minutes, the temperature of the body decreased. So we'll put Newton's law of cooling, that is rate of change of cooling, that is minus dt by dt. This is the change in temperature or the loss in temperature or decrease in temperature, and dt is the change in time, is equals to k T minus Ts, where T is the temperature, average temperature of the body, and Ts is the temperature of the surrounding. So the decrease in temperature is nothing but 60 minus 40, that is 20 degrees Celsius. 7 minutes can be written as 7 into 60 seconds is equals to the temperature, the change in temperature. That is how much? The change in temperature is nothing but the average temperature of the body is nothing but 60 plus 40 divided by 2, that is 50 degrees. K into 50 minus, we can write it as surrounding temperature to be 10. So this is the value of K that we have found out, and this is nothing but the decrease in temperature, so we put a minus symbol here. So this is the decrease in temperature. Now for the next 7 minutes, what will be the temperature of the body? So final temperature theta as the final temperature. So for the final temperature, if I take theta, and initial temperature is nothing but 40 degrees Celsius for the next 7 minutes. So I can write minus 40 minus theta divided by next 7 minutes, that is 7 into 60 is equals to K into, let me take the average temperature, that is 40 plus theta divided by 2 minus the temperature of the surrounding, that is 10. So we already know if we divide both the equations, equation number 1 and equation number 2, if I divide both of them, we will get many things cancelled. We will get 40 minus theta by 20 is equals to k gets cancelled, 70 into 60, 7 into 60, 7 into 60 gets cancelled. We will have 40 plus theta by 2 minus 10 divided by 50 minus 10 is 40. So solving these two equations, I will get the temperature, the final temperature of the body to be 28 degree Celsius. This will be the temperature of the body after the next 7 minutes. So the next question is to find out the work done during this given process. So here is the graph where we will find out the work done during the process. So here the process is a cyclic process, and we all know that if there is a cyclic process, then the work done is nothing but the area enclosed by the cyclic process. So to find out the work done, we need to find the area enclosed by the cyclic process, that is nothing but half base into height. Let me take the base to be AC and height to be AB. So half AC is nothing but 6 minus 2, that is 4, and height is AB, that is nothing but 10 minus 1, 9. So the area of the graph will be nothing but 18, and this is nothing but the work done during the cyclic process. Since the cyclic process is a clockwise process, the work done will be positive, or the work is done by the gas. So work is done by the gas, the work is done. If it is an anti-clockwise process, cyclic process, the work will be done on the gas and the work done will be negative. The next question is that if the amount of heat supplied to a system is 50 joules and work is done on the system, that is minus 20 joules, that is the work done on the system because it is negative. We have to find out the change in internal energy during the system. So the amount of heat supplied is given, the amount of work done is given. We have to find out the change in internal energy. So applying first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics states that the amount of heat supplied is converted into two parts, basically, that is to change the internal energy of the gas and to do some work. So Q is how much? 50 joules, and we don't know what is the change in internal energy, but we know that the work is done as minus 20. So the energy of the gas will increase, that is 50, the minus goes that side, becomes plus, that is 70 joules of energy will be stored by the gas, or there will be an increase in internal energy of the gas. So this is how we apply first law of thermodynamics in the questions. The next question is based on Carnot's heat engine, in which it is telling that the source is supplying 100 calories of heat and is at temperature 400 Kelvin, and the sink is accepting energy, or it is gaining energy 80 calories, or the heat is given to the sink up to 80 calories. Find out the temperature of the sink and also find out the efficiency of the Carnot's engine. So we all know the relationship between heat and temperature, they are directly proportional. So Q1 by Q2 is nothing but T1 by T2. So Q1 is nothing but 100 calorie. 100 by 80 is equals to 400 by T2. So solving this, we will get T2 is equal to 320 Kelvin. This is the temperature of the sink. To find efficiency, we can either use this formula, that is 1 minus Q2 by Q1, or we can use 1 minus T2 by T1. So efficiency of a heat engine or Carnot's engine will be 1 minus divided by 400. If I put the temperatures, it will be around 20%. This will be the efficiency of any Carnot's engine. So how it is solved? It is solved by taking out the amount of heat and temperature and all the things that are given in the question, that is the source heat supplied, sink which is accepting or taking the heat, and the temperature and everything. How much work is done can also be found out from this question. The amount of work done during this process is nothing but Q1 minus Q2, that is equals to 100 minus 80, that is 20 calorie heat is converted into mechanical work. This is the amount of work done during the Carnot's cycle.